Hello and welcome. This is kirbyone again, and you're here for your daily dose of Dominions. For starters, what I'm going to do is kind of try and address quickly some of the things that happened as a result of the last video, the confusing battle report and such, and I will explain to you the kinds of things that I've been trying to do to see if I can recreate the events as I saw them when I received the turn initially, and tell you the kinds of things that I've discovered so far. So I'll start off with a passage from the Dominions 5 manual, the PDF version, that I found and read under multiplayer games and patches. Patches. Throughout the history of Dominions, the developers have regularly issued patches to fix bugs, add features, and make balance adjustments. There is no reason to believe this will not continue with Dominions 5. Usually the new version can load files from the old versions, but not vice versa. The way to manage this in play-by-email games is to have the host patch when he has all the turns and is ready to host. So when a patch comes out, all players should first complete their current turns with the old version and send their .2h files to the host. Then the host should apply the patch and then host the game. Players should then apply the patch to their own machines before loading the .trn file they get back from the host, which will be using the new version. So I did not know this at the time. I have not been doing this up until this point. Again, this game is still ongoing. I will probably try and be a little more conscious of this if patches do come out in the future over the course of this game. A number of patches have come out since this game started. I know I mentioned briefly in one of the previous episodes that the patch, including the Macone Nation, came out during this patch a couple turns ago, actually, in the game as you've been watching it, not as I've been seeing it. The turn that I showed you yesterday, turn 17, was emailed to me on January 23rd. And on January 30th, there was another patch, patch 5.12, which came out. And in Steam, under the first bullet point that can be read, it says, as a fix and update that was included in this patch, battles could overwrite previous battles, resulting in confusing reports. So, between January 23rd, when I received this last turn, not this turn, the previous one, and January 30th, that might have been what had happened, including what had happened in the previous example that I showed you and that you guys saw, where another turn was also showing a battle report that did not follow what happened in what we watched. So maybe that will do something to explain the situation a little bit. As of right now, I have done all in my limited repertoire of knowledge that I can to try and recreate what I saw in the battle report. As I described to you, what I saw happen was my divine steed rushed into the battle, engaged the giants, caused them to rout, and got stuck behind a retreating Nifl Jarl. And because of the chill aura from the Jarl, even though the Jarl was routed, he would attack my divine steed, who was permanently fatigued out and could not fight back and eventually died. And the Jarl then routed off the battlefield. So that's what I saw happen. That's what the game shows ultimately happened at the end of the day, and that's what we're going to have to go on, and we're going to move on with our lives and get right into turn 18 now. Sorry that took up a little bit of time. Hopefully this won't happen again. We'll see. So I get a message from Aramore on turn 18 saying, because this is talking again about TNC. This is our delayed reaction conversation about whether or not to attack TNC. As of right now, I am having to deal with Yomi, and some people know that. Some people do not necessarily know that. Wolvermori, I do not know off the top of my head where it is, but Tianqi attacks there. It is clearly a throne. He does not do so hot, unfortunately for him. Is this his prophet that dies? Let me see. Oh, it is. Yeah, so his prophet dies. It's unfortunate for him. And he loses, well, the same thing happens to him as happened to me. He loses his entire army. Airmore, meanwhile, just pings it. So they're actually fighting over this throne. We'll see where that is in a second. This is the battle for the province that, again, I threw my province defense into, and now that's all that there's left there, because all of my efforts to hold it have been for naught. He sends in his full force, and I cannot stand against it. He has no problem with that. So, alas, that was not so good for me. He has now broken through my first line of defense and can rampage through at least these lands until he hits my force, where I am amassing another minimal force. But again, this is all I have, because I lost my entire army here. I lost my super awesome Divine Steed here, plus a couple of guys. And so this is all of my forces, except for the ones that I've recruited in my various forts. But I don't really have a whole lot of ways to get them around. Actually, yeah, he's moving a handful of people over here. And then maybe he's going to pick these guys up and then go there. He's not going to make it in time here. Not by a long shot. So, what am I doing in response to this? Well, I know that I do not have enough forces to take him head on, not 2 Jarls, the way that he has them decked out with his bless. So, I have resorted to alternate tactics. I am going to be recruiting sneaky ambushers. Or not ambushers, raiders, I should say. Raiding monkey parties. And I am going to take advantage of the fact that he has put 1 point of PD into any of the provinces that I have scouted, and see if I can do something with that. I am also recruiting from here. I can get a bit more here, but they're farther away, so it's going to be harder to get out there in time to do some substantial economic damage. I'm also just kind of leaving my scouts on any thrones that are around that I find that are indie still, to see who attacks them, which is actually this one. This is Wolvermori. That's the one that Tianqi and Airmore are fighting over. I think Airmore's going to get it because Tianqi just lost his whole army, like me. So Airmore's probably going to get this one too, unfortunately. So yeah, but I'll just sit there and wait and watch and see. I'm also scouting. Helheim actually cleared this, but I don't think he has claimed it. So he's trying to be sneaky about it. Maybe it's just not a good throne for him, but his gods, his pretender's there, so maybe he'll move on there eventually and take that. We'll see. Yomi's got some guys hovering around. He's probably just site searching now that I can guess what he's doing with that. And he did say he wants to fight and Ur's over here, so I'm gonna go see what's over here and maybe see where his border with is. And Tianqi, well, let's see. I don't send any messages right now. He's got a fort here. I don't know if Niflheim will say, oh, hey, the Tianqi, I'll attack him, or if he's going to go for me. So I did warn Tianqi about Niflheim last turn. So he's got that for going for him. For research, I am changing it up a bit. So in some test games, none of my real strategies were really working. So I, for some reason, decided Alteration 1 was going to be great. Maybe I wanted Earthmite in order to deal more damage and cut through his protection from like ice protection and stuff like that. I think I just need to fight him outside his dominion, and that will do a lot more things for me. And I also want Thaumaturgy 3, because Thaumaturgy 3 opens up a number of things. First of all, it allows me to teleport my pretender, which will be really good at getting him to the front line, because a monolith, well, against the kind of damage that those Jarls are doing, probably not a super safe bet, but he can do a lot of other helpful things. However, Thaumaturgy 4 is what's really good for me, because if I can get Paralyze, this is going to be a huge, huge thing for me to combat super combatants. Astral 2 I can get with Light of the Northern Star, which I have because I have Conjuration 4, and if I pair that up with my Pretender, Light of the Northern Star, and a bunch of yogis, I can paralyze until the cows come home. So that's what's going on right now. I'm going to forge Clam of Pearls so that I can be ready to use that. I'm going to summon Horned Serpents. For some reason I thought Poison was going to help me out. Against regeneration, it is not going to do that. Not Horned Serpents, at least. They're not that great. But she can't really summon anything else. Cold. She can summon cold units like well, Swamp Drake, but later on she could summon like Frost Ice Drakes and stuff. They're not going to do anything because they have so much cold resistance. And I'm going to take this province with the Zots and recruit some more stealthy people. Leave my elephants at home, but I'm going to take my Yavanas because they'll be able to clear that out no problem. And the formation I'm using is obviously just bunching them up here. I'm not going to do a line against flyers. That's dumb. Okay, that's enough of that. We'll end it here. Sorry for all of the confusion from last turn, and hopefully things will run smoothly, calmly, normally, and much more understandably while we watch me get trampled by Niflheim. Have fun!